Hello everyone. So in the today's video we're going to solve the definition wherein we will read a string from the user and we are going to sort it in the increasing order of the word length. Now since working with strings is a little tricky when it comes to working with words, it would be a great option to convert the string into an array of words and then sort the array. So that is the logic we are going to use. And then we are going to go through each of the element, find the length of it, and we are going to swap the values if the length of the current item is greater than the length of the comparing item. So let us for first thing convert the string into an array. So I'm using the space as the separator character because words are separated by spaces. We would need a few variables. For example, I would need the loop counter. I would need the str string, which is going to be my final output, and I'm going to need the length of the array. So I'm going to use the b dot length. Right. So let us start with our logic here. I would actually need one more variable, that's a temporary variable, which is going to be used as a temporary storage when we are swapping the values. Apart from this, since we are going to need to run another loop, I think I'm going to need one more variable, that's the counter variable for the inner loop. Okay, let's start. And as we proceed, if any more variables are required, we can just come here and add. Okay, so here we are going to run our first loop, that's the outer loop. So what we will do with the outer loop is that we will take the ith position and the element at the ith position, and we will compare it to the remaining elements from that element onwards, not including that element. So if we find any element which is shorter in length compared to the current element, we will swap the value. That way, at the end of the inner loop, the current position, ith element position, should contain the smallest element. And this goes on. So for the first element, when the replacement takes place, finally it would contain the smallest out of the entire list. Then the second element, when that replacement takes place at the end of the entire loop, should contain the second smallest element. So for that thing, okay, we'll have to write in our inner loop. And for the inner loop, we are not going to take the current ith positioned element. So we'll be taking I plus 1 and j is less than n. We will run our inner loop. So in our inner loop, what we are going to do is, if the ith position element's length is greater than the jth element's length. So basically we are applying the concept of swapping. So then what we will do is, we'll say the temporary variable contains the ith element's value. The ith element would be replaced with the jth element, and the jth element is replaced by the ith element's value, which is stored in temporary variable. So at the end of this inner loop, the current ith position for which this loop was executed, that position should finally contain the smallest length word, right? So that is what should happen. And then at the end of the entire loop, we will combine each of these elements to form the string. So let us go ahead, and so that's the string should be, we're going to use the join function. Now since the splitting was done on spaces, we'll use the spaces to join the words, and finally we would print the string. Let's check out. So we should get is this India, and the code is working just fine. So try this out, and in the next video we'll check out a new definition.